now gives me great pleasure to introduce Mim O'Flynn. So for those of you, I think Mim needs very little introduction, but just for those of you who don't know, Nurse Mim focuses on screening and linking homeless and incarcerated people to hepatitis C care with the Combi Clinic, and I'd hope that most of you have heard of the Combi Clinic. Today, Mim's going to talk to us about one step closer towards HCV elimination, lessons from 25 high-intensity point-of-care testing campaigns across 14 prisons in Queensland. Welcome.
Thanks, Rachel. And thank you to INSU for accepting our abstract. I'm very thrilled to be standing here at my 6th INSU and presenting. So today, the focus of my talk is really about the lessons that we've learned over the last 58 months that we've been testing within Queensland prisons, rather than a lot on the data. So it's about the lessons. And my first lesson, I think, I'm pressing the button, is from Gandhi, because I really love the fact that he talks about, you know, we have to be the change that we want to see in the world, and that's what Combi is trying to do, make a difference and sort of be that change for people who are incarcerated. The other lesson is 13 years ago, I was fortunate enough to be in Cape Town when Nelson Mandela passed, and I went to his memorial. And I've read a lot about him, and one of his favourite words was to rise, and it was about rising above your own limitations. And it's about what we can do while we're here, because I've got less time than the rest of you, to make that difference in the lives of other people. So, here's someone who makes a big change in the lives of other people. Joss and I talked just recently, not last week, the week before, we were at a high-intensity testing campaign, and he was talking about renaming Hep C, and the acronym he thinks should be CLV, and that's a curable liver disease, a curable liver virus. Because if we remove the stigma around Hep C and give it a name it's really meaningful and something relatable for the clients. So here's a little word from Joss.
G'day, I'm Joss from the Combi Clinic. We're at Brisbane Correctional Centre today doing another Hep C high intensity campaign. Sorry I can't be there at South Africa at INSU. I hope you have a great conference. Cheers.
So it's not always about me. He's the one that does all the prescribing. Alrighty. So as always, a special thanks to people with lived experience, all the people within corrections that presented their finger for us and allowed us to test their courage and willingness to be involved in our campaigns. So we have been to 14 correctional centres. Some of them we've had repeat visits. We've done 28 testing campaigns over 144 days, and as I said, it's about 58 months that we've been involved in doing this. So what are some of the lessons? Well, there's a lot of lessons to be learned. We're dragging 174 Gen-X machines and a very expensive shoulder operation for me at the beginning of the year. So, as usual, I've got a little video, and this will have all the collective data for you. So sit back for a minute and a half and enjoy. There's the spider, Jason. So, lessons learnt. One of the most amazing things is point of care testing. This has been an enormous game changer for us and for the experience for the clients. I mean, it's obviously improved the equity of their care, the timeliness to give results to people, time to treatment and patient outcomes. So what I've produced now is a little postcard that I take into the correctional centres, and same day people get the result. If their Gen-X test is negative, then they get this through the internal mail. It's just a nice little combi postcard, and they've got that to keep in their own personal stuff, so that they know on that date they were negative for testing, which is good. We've found that you can take a Gen-X machine anywhere. We've taken it into, I know this is about prisons, but we've taken it into underground car parks. That second photo is actually inside a correctional centre, and yeah, it's let your imagination run wild with what we can do. It's not about me, it's about the bonded partnership that we work with in Queensland. So we partner with Hepatitis Queensland and also Quinn, and obviously we have this incredible support from Kirby and all the fabulous people that we interact with very regularly, Flinders, Queensland Health and Queensland Correctional Services. One of the big things we've learned is that great training is required when using the point of care. People need to practice collection. It's all very well to think it's a bit like a glucose test, but it's not. Allowing yourself to be an expert with the mini vet takes just a little bit of time, but once you get it, you know, passionate people can drive all this testing, having a cohesive team, so that we're usually a group of 6, same lot of people that go in, so we all interact and do the same role. Each of us can do each role. And don't be afraid to ask for help. You know, everyone at the beginning of testing has a few errors, but if you practice that tenacity and push through the challenges that may be provided through the correctional services themselves, then you can achieve great things. One of the lessons that I think is very imperative, and Dr. Rick talked about it last night and again today, is that discharge planning starts, he said, commences on admission to corrections. And I'm going to hang on to that because I think it's a great statement, that we really need to make sure that if we're diagnosing someone, you never know when they're going to be released. They can go to court and just, you know, not be expecting to be released. And we've got to make sure we follow them up and get their meds to them. We do a lot of preparation before we go into the correctional centres. We make sure there's posters up, you know, within a few weeks before we go, and that the peer groups of people who are inside, we make sure that they understand what we're doing and that they sort of liaise for us amongst the people in their units. I showed this last year, but you know, things just continue. They're just ongoing lessons. And probably the most important one on this is find that champion. Find the GM within your correctional centre. For a couple of years, I banged on desks and walls and whatever to get some sort of incentive for the people inside. And one GM took the risk and said, yeah, do what you like. So I got mini Mars bars in, and I've probably Nestle, their shares have gone way up because I've distributed thousands of them. In summary, you know, with 11,215 people being tested, it's that potential impact that these campaigns can have on progressing us all to elimination. And I think if we scale it up across Australia and even globally, have little yellow vans everywhere. And it would be remiss of me not to thank you, Jason, for your help with stats, not my area of expertise. If I could just say thank you to Dr. Leese and Dr. Andrew. A career highlight for me last Thursday was attending Glenwood Correctional Centre, and also Sister Lulu was really very humbling, very confronting, and yeah, quite an amazing day. It's all about the team, and I work with some amazing people. Very grateful for what I do and to go to work every day and enjoy everything that comes my way. And of course, an enormous thanks to all the partners. There's the spider again, Jason. But yeah, thanks to everyone who helps me do what I do.
Thank you, as ever, absolutely brilliant. Is there anybody that's got any questions that they'd like to ask from the floor? No, I've got, Tom has a question.
Tom.
I do as well. Tom, I do too, but Tom's going to go first.
Okay.
Amazing presentation, thank you. The correctional, I saw the picture there where there was a correctional, I think, service worker that was like in the picture with you, but I also, going on what you said about finding a champion and how with the actual correctional officers, building a relationship and that working like relationship, how does that go along and how did you build that?
I've been exceptionally lucky, Tom, that the first correctional centre we went to was Lotus Glen up in Cairns, and there was just this mighty officer, and they call him Rocket. And what happened was Rocket let other centres know the Mim and her band of merry men are coming and they're okay. They're not going to do anything that's going to upset the status quo. They're here just for the men and the women within corrections. They don't bring anything in. Like now, they don't even examine my van. I could have, you know, whatever inside, but I get to drive the van right inside the correctional centre, and yeah. And as I say, it's such a privilege what I do. I would never do anything to make that not happen.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are you okay? I'm going to have my go in a minute.
Let me use the little remaining time to ask a quick question. You spoke about watertight discharge plan. What exactly, how do you do it, and can you share a little bit more details about it? I think.
So in Queensland, we're very lucky. The Queensland Health Support, a lady named Dorrit, who is the prison transition worker for Hep C, and whilst she mostly works in southeast Queensland, all the nurses, the bloodborne virus nurses around the major correctional centres know Dorrit and also know what I do. And if someone is discharged, there's a lot of brown packages go sort of wandering around, picking up from pharmacy. So we get their pills, we deliver them to their homes, which don't tell anyone. Nothing illegal, of course. But yeah, you do what you have to do because we want to make sure that people get their medication and continue on it.
We do what we have to do.
Yeah.
I agree with you completely. I don't have time for my question, but I will catch you afterwards.
Okay.
Or there might be some time at the end, but I just want to say thank you once more for...
Thanks.
Thank you.